I'm Joanne, sitting in my new office, looking out at the bustling city. I'm reminded of the incredible journey that led me here. It all started with a visit to a law office, a place filled with the smell of leather and the weight of old money. 3 weeks ago, my parents died in a car accident. Today, I'm about to learn the contents of their will. I'm surrounded by my relatives, all dressed in their finest black clothes. My cousin, Ryan, smirks from across the room, confident that he'll be the big winner. My Aunt Grace leans forward, her jewelry tinkling softly, and Uncle Henry clears his throat. My family comes from an old money background. My parents, strict and materialistic, always valued wealth and status above all else. They believed that a real career was one that made millions. I, on the other hand, work at a local community bank, helping ordinary people manage their finances. This difference in values has always been a point of contention between us. The lawyer, Mr. Thompson, adjusts his glasses and begins to read the will. To our son, Ryan Miller, in recognition of his outstanding business skills and commitment to the family legacy, we leave our controlling stake in Miller Investments, worth around $12 million. Ryan's smirk turns into a wide grin. It's no surprise. He's always been my parents' favorite. Then, one by one, other relatives receive properties, investments, and art collections. Finally, it's my turn. To our daughter Joanne, Mr. Thompson pauses, squinting at the paper. Your constant refusal to embrace the Miller family values and ambitions shows that you don't deserve a share in what we've built. Maybe this will teach you the importance of proper financial success. The room falls silent. I whisper, "Nothing. They left me nothing." Aunt Grace says with feigned sympathy, "You never contributed to the family business. Always involved in those small community projects. Those projects, though, have helped many families during tough times and taught financial knowledge to those who needed it. But in my family's eyes, if it didn't make a fortune, it was worthless. Just when I think it can't get any worse, Mr. Thompson pulls out another envelope. This was left for you by your grandfather, George Miller, before he passed away 5 years ago. He said it should be given to you after your parents' will is read." The thought of my grandfather brings tears to my eyes. He was different from the rest of the family. Quiet and thoughtful, he actually listened when I talked about my dream of helping people with finance. I open the envelope carefully. Inside are some papers and a brass key. I read the letter silently, my grandfather's voice echoing in my mind. "My dear Joanne, if you're reading this, your parents still have a narrow view of success, and you've held on to your principles. I'm proud of you. True wealth isn't just about money. It's about what you do with it. While they were building Miller Investments, I was building something else. The key in your hand opens a door to a different legacy. Go to the old boathouse by Silver Lake. You'll know what to do." Ryan demands to know what the old man left me, laughing at the idea of it being just advice about helping people. I tell him it's just memories and put the letter and key in my bag. As the meeting ends, Ryan catches up with me in the parking lot. "No hard feelings about the will, right? You never had any real ambition," he says. I look at him, seeing his arrogance and his blindness to anything beyond profit. "You're right, Ryan. I never had the kind of ambition you understand," I reply. I get into my simple car, a sharp contrast to his luxury vehicle. The drive to Silver Lake takes about 40 minutes. With each mile, I move further away from the world of Miller Investments and closer to the secret my grandfather left. The boathouse is just as I remember it. It's a weather-beaten wooden building by the lake. In summer, it held the family boats. In winter, it was my grandfather's quiet place. My hands shake as I put the key in the lock. It turns with a click. Inside, dust particles dance in the sunlight coming through dirty windows. The air smells of old wood and forgotten memories. I notice something different about the old workbench on the back wall. There are seams that shouldn't be there. I run my fingers along the edge and find a small indentation. The key fits perfectly, and the workbench top swings up, revealing a steel safe. There's an electronic keyhole, and a note says, "The year you decided to help people instead of chasing money." I remember that year. I was 25, fresh out of college. My parents had arranged an interview at a big investment firm, but I went to the local community bank instead. I enter the date, and the safe opens. Inside, there are stacks of documents, files, and a leather-bound journal. The letter on top, addressed to the board of Miller Investments, catches my eye. As I read, I'm shocked. My grandfather had left me the truth about our family's fortune. That night, in my small apartment, I go through the documents. The journal reveals that my father had built Miller Investments by stealing ideas, burying reports, and manipulating numbers. He crushed anyone who got in his way. But my grandfather had been watching. He'd built a parallel investment structure, investing in the people my father had wronged. He'd created a shadow portfolio worth over $50 million. The next morning, I go to Miller Investments headquarters. Dressed in a simple professional suit, I almost don't get in because the security guard isn't used to seeing me. Ryan intercepts me in the lobby, mocking me for coming to beg for a job. I show him a document about the real numbers behind a big account, and his face turns pale. In the boardroom, I present the evidence to the board. I tell them about the stolen ideas, the buried innovations, and the real financial state of the company. As I speak, the atmosphere in the room gets heavier. Ryan bursts in, accusing me of lying for revenge. But then, several people whose work had been used by my father enter the room. They confirm that my grandfather had been a silent investor in their ventures. I propose a takeover. I explain that my grandfather's shadow portfolio is now worth more than Miller Investments. We can do it the easy way, with Miller Investments becoming part of our new ethical investment group, or the hard way, by making the evidence public and ruining the company's stock price. After hours of discussion, the board signs the papers. Miller Investments is absorbed into the new venture, Cooper Miller Ethical Investments. As I leave the building, Ryan asks me why my grandfather didn't expose my father earlier. I tell him that my grandfather wanted to prove that ethical investment is not only morally right but also more profitable. Aunt Grace and Uncle Henry try to contest my grandfather's portfolio, but the documentation is perfect. 1 year later, I'm sitting in the office that was once my father's. The walls are filled with pictures of successful community projects and ethical startups. Ryan has finally agreed to join our ethical investment training program. He's starting to understand that there's more to success than just making money. My grandfather's words come back to me. The best investments are in people, in dreams, and in doing what's right. He gave me more than a fortune. He gave me a purpose. And every day, as I help small businesses grow and fund innovative ideas, I know I'm building a legacy he would be proud of.